way ahead in Ohio. We're way ahead in Iowa. We're doing great in North Carolina. I think we're actually winning. And I have a feeling that it's going to be a tremendous victory. We are going to win back the White House. We're going to win it back, folks.
And here we are back on Newsmax Prime, an even dozen days between now and Election Day. We just heard Donald Trump. He is confident that he will take over the Oval Office. And if you take a look at the current polling, looks like momentum may be on his side. For more, let's talk about it with our radio roundtable. First, from deep in the heart of Texas, San Antonio to be precise, Joe Pags. You see Joe's show, which is simulcast here on Newsmax TV, weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern. From his studio in Boston, it's Howie Carr. You see Howie's show simulcast here on Newsmax TV at 4 p.m. Eastern, and Skyping in from the Big Apple, WABC radio host Curtis Sliwa. Guys, we thank you for your time. Before we get your thoughts, gotta take a look at what is happening in terms of the momentum shift. Left-leaning CNN announcing that as they gauge public opinion, when it comes to Nevada, they have shifted Nevada back from blue to toss-up. And sure enough, Hillary and the Donald tied at 43, Libertarian Gary Johnson with 10%. But the bigger news may be coming from Florida. Given those 29 electoral votes in the Sunshine State, the Bloomberg poll has Donald Trump up by 2. Let me start with you, Joe Pags. Is this the beginning of Mr. Trump's march to victory, or are there still some challenges ahead?
Well, it's certainly very positive for him. I always thought Florida would be in the bag for Donald Trump because he basically lives there. He's there 6 months out of the year. The fact that it was even a toss-up is interesting to me. I think the most important state, and you didn't mention it, but you probably didn't have to yet, is Pennsylvania. If he can eke out something in Pennsylvania, make some inroads in Pennsylvania, the guy's got a really good chance to win, no matter what these individual media-driven polls say. Yeah, the momentum is on his side, that's for sure. I think Florida is probably the one that jumps out at me the most, that it probably never should have really been up for grabs. It should have been his to begin with.
You know what, JD, what Donald Trump needs is blinders. It's like a thoroughbred horse, passing that three-quarter mark, and all of a sudden he reacts to the crowd. The crowd's like, come on, whip it, come on, bring it in. And all of a sudden the horse gets spooked. The Democrats have laid out like ISIS, those hidden bombs, those hidden distractions that Donald Trump always goes for. If he stays on track, if he stays on message, talks about Obamacare, talks about the economy, making and building jobs in America, he's got a shot. But if he gets distracted like he always does, hey, it's back to the barn for you, pal.
Yeah, Howie, in the old days of politics, we called that message discipline. Curtis's allusion to horse racing notwithstanding, staying on message. Can Mr. Trump do that?
Well, I think he can. He's also got to avoid the pitfalls of the mainstream media asking him to react to how Newt Gingrich did against Megyn Kelly. I mean, that's another distraction altogether. He doesn't have any debates. He doesn't have to worry about Hillary Clinton bringing up the alleged $14 million he got from his father, but he's still got to worry about the mainstream media getting him off track. If I were him, I would stick really closely to Obamacare. Obamacare seems to be a winning issue. These, the government, healthcare.gov has come out with their own admission about how much the premiums are going up. Let the surrogates handle WikiLeaks. That's good stuff too. But he should just stay right on Obamacare. This is something he can tie directly to Hillary Clinton. With
the rates going up 116% on Obamacare premiums in the state I used to represent, that's good advice, Howie. Now, Howie just mentioned it. It's the media bias, and Donald Trump talks about it all the time, but thankfully one of his surrogates was the one mixing it up with Megyn Kelly a couple of nights ago on Fox News. Check this out.
If Trump is a sexual predator, that is...
He's not a sexual predator.
Okay, that's your opinion. I'm not taking a position on it.
You could not defend that statement.
I'm sick and tired
of people like you using language that's inflammatory, that's not true.
Excuse me, Mr. Speaker.
Donald
you have
Trump
no idea whether it's true or not. What we know is that there are at least...
Neither do you.
That's right, and I'm not taking a position on it, unlike
yes, you are. When you use the words, you took a position.
So what
I think
said
it's very
is
unfair of you to do that, Megyn.
Incorrect.
I think that is exactly the bias people are upset by.
So, Curtis, you're just around the block from that whole exchange there in New York. Did Newt handle that effectively?
Newt, you know, the flawed messenger, not necessarily the best guy, nor Michael Buttigieg's Rudy Giuliani, because they've had personal failings. What is it, Newt? 3 religions, 3 wives, with gumadas on the side, snacking one intern to the next. You know, Megyn didn't go low on him. She could have brought up all of his personal failings, but didn't, and kept it on the level. But you know something? We're always going to go for titillation. This has always been the case. When the case with Monica Lewinsky broke on Bill Clinton, all the press corps left, remember, on the tarmac in Havana, Cuba. The Pope with Fidel Castro, they abandoned him and all came back to Washington. It's just the nature of the news cycle. Come on. We love sex.
But Curtis, the whole idea... Hey, the whole idea that Newt brought it up is ridiculous. Newt goes on there to talk about policy. He's going to be the chief of staff if Donald Trump should be in there. It was brought up by Megyn Kelly again. And I don't know if she's obsessed with sex like he said that she is, but every single frickin' time anybody is on there that has any leaning toward Donald Trump, the first thing out of her mouth is, if he's a sexual abuser. But can you believe what he said 11 years ago? The fact is she doesn't harp on this when it comes to Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton's collusion and covering it all up. When she talks about Juanita Broderick, who has pictures with a big fat lip after she says she was attacked sexually and violently by Bill Clinton, Megyn Kelly always says, yeah, but then she rescinded, but then she said it happened again, so we're not really sure about that. With Donald Trump, Megyn Kelly's got an issue, and I don't know what it is, but she brought it up again, and I think Newt attacks her back the right way.
Howie, give us the view from Boston on that exchange.
I think what he should have said is he should have said you're obsessed with Donald Trump or you're obsessed with electing Hillary Clinton. There was a poor choice of words to say obsessed with sex. But other than that, I thought it was legit. I mean, you're right. She just keeps going after him. She's negotiating her contract with CNN. That's what it certainly appears to be. It's in the Wall Street Journal this morning. She's looking for $20 million from Fox or CNN, and apparently, according to what I hear, she's already gotten a settlement on the Roger Ailes.
Well, hey, if that's the case, well, I guess we'll keep talking about sex. $22 million, we'll all go in and renegotiate. But all kidding aside, the big money way out in La La Land in Hollywood, the beautiful people are out, although it was Miami the other night where Adele, I guess last night, for Hillary's birthday, urged concert goers to vote for Hillary and not Donald Trump. And then there's a new commercial out with Morgan Freeman doing his voice and that whole image of how horrible Donald Trump is going to be as president. Guys, need a quick reaction from all of you. Star power in this election in Hollywood. We're they're to the left. Is that old news? Is it going to make any difference? Let's begin with Curtis.
Look, JD, nobody cares about the freakazoids, trendoids, jet setters from Hollyweird. Whether it's Justin Timberlake leaving Hollyweird to go to Memphis to vote and take a selfie. Come on. They're fake, phony, fraudulent, fugazi folks. Don't get caught up in that hype.
Hey, let's get the other guys. Joe, to you.
Well, I got to tell you, I didn't know that Adele was pushing for Hillary Clinton. I might have to change my whole vote. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to people who are thinking. It doesn't matter to people who are using their brains. It doesn't matter to people who actually pay attention to the issues and what's going on in the country. It'll matter to a few millennials who are brain dead. But beyond that, I don't think it means much.
Got to change the playlist. Final word, 15 seconds to Howie Carr.
Hollywood box office is down, NFL ratings are down, broadcast TV ratings are down. I don't think these endorsements ever meant anything, and they mean less now than they ever have.
Fair enough. Howie Carr, Joe Pags, and Curtis Sliwa, we thank you for your time tonight on Newsmax Prime.